Did you get a copy of your book?
Not
Hello.
yet.
We are live and we are ready to broadcast. We are so excited. My name is Becky Norwood with Spotlight Publishing. This is Paul Moring, who is the author of the most amazing book that is just being released today. Paul, talk about what this journey has been for you. We are really excited about this time that we have had to be able to work on this bringing this book to the world. Get squared, goal getting with balanced. So talk to us about your journey and why you brought this book to the world.
Well, thank you, Becky. And first of all, thank you for your help. I'm sure that it would still be in the works someplace if you didn't help me get this across the finish line. So I really appreciate that. But this has come from a lot of years of coaching and training business owners and trying to figure out ways to help them better accomplish goals both in their business and their personal lives. And so the journey started with the experience that I had tinkering with finding the best way to be able to help people perform at their best.
You know, I think that especially at the beginning of a year, so many of us we get all inspired to set goals for ourselves, and then by the end of the month, it's kind of like trickled off into somewhere land. But this book is different in the sense that it's about goal getting, not setting, but goal getting. So what's the difference? What is the whole idea behind this?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the example that I use in the book kind of seems to ring pretty true. If you say to yourself, I'm going to set my alarm for 6 o'clock because I'm going to get up and go for a walk or a jog, I'm going to get up and do my exercises, you just set your alarm. But you didn't necessarily get up when that alarm went off. You hit snooze, and then 3 times later, it's an hour later, and you missed your opportunity to work out. So instead of setting your alarm for the morning, you say, I'm getting up in the morning at 6 o'clock. And the same thing kind of applies to the goals. If you just set goals instead of I'm going to get this goal, it's just a little different way to talk to yourself. And we're such psychological animals, that you're trying to find ways to trick yourself into, again, performing at your very best.
Well, you talk about in your book about having a win rate of 70%, over 70%, because of it's really a change in the viewpoint. It's a change in the attitude. It's a change in the mindset around accomplishing our goals. And I know you have some little tricks in the process to help us to stay on track. Can you tell us about some of the ways that you teach and implement goal getting?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm going to start with the end one, and that is that winners keep score. So you really have to hold yourself accountable and track. Some of the best goal getters are people that keep track of where they're at. Any given day, they can tell you exactly where they're at. Now, you don't expect that from the beginning. You'll work into that. But I think early on, it's tying the goal to the activities that it's going to take for you to get to that goal. And that really kind of helps lay the groundwork for you repeating those activities day in and day out till you get to where you're trying to go.
And it's one of those things that it's not a set and forget. It's not as do it 1 or 2 times. It's something that it has to be kind of a habit, a new habit, maybe that you place. And it's just like you mentioned earlier about the setting the alarm, or just saying I will be up at 6 and get up. There's a big difference between the way you accomplish things in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just use this morning as an example. I'm riding a lot of bike this month because it's the Great Cycle Challenge, and we're raising funds to get rid of kids' cancer. There's so many kids that suffer from it each year. So we're trying to build up as many miles as we can. And when my alarm went off this morning at a little after 5, I said to myself, I don't really feel like biking. luckily I had my biking buddy Dave that was going to be waiting for me, and I wasn't going to leave him on a corner. So that's part of the accountability. Sometimes it's doing it with somebody that can help you and keep you on track to reach those goals, and that is really helpful to have an accountability partner that steps in and kind of takes that role, because there's plenty of days that these top level athletes don't feel like getting up and doing what they need to do, but they do it anyways.
They do. Yes, and that goes in just about every facet of life. There are times we don't want to do certain things. But for those that are listening, Paul has a book that is being released. It's on Amazon. I put the link in the down below in the comments. Check out this book. You can get it both as a Kindle. For today only, it's 99 cents as a Kindle. But if you're like me, I like to pick up the book and be able to feel it and touch it and mark my main points that really resonated with me. And it all helps so much to be able to, I just love the touch and the feel of the having a book in hand. For those who do you teach? Who do you work with, Paul?
Great question. Most of our clients are small business owners who are either in the startup phase, trying to get going, or they've reached a plateau and they're trying to figure out how to get up to that next level or get things growing again. Over and over again, when I would sit down with my business owners and talk to them about their goals, they would start out by saying, well, I'd like to grow my business. And so growth is always healthy. Growth always feels good. And so that's what we kind of focus on, is businesses that are really, really committed to growing, but they maybe are just getting stuck someplace along the way.
So do you do individual one-to-one coaching? Do you do group coaching? How do you operate that way?
Yeah, we do both of those. So we do individual coaching and we do group coaching. Everybody's just a little bit different and they want something a little bit different. So we try to cater programs to that. And then we'll give them a free coaching session, because a lot of people don't realize what coaching looks like or feels like or how it operates. And we want to make sure that we hedge our bet. And what I mean by that is, if we sit down with a potential client and we don't feel it's going to be a good fit, then we'll try to find them another coaching outlet, coaching source. We want to be able to say to ourselves on that first day that give them 12 months or 6 months down the road that they would go online and write a nice review about the work that we did together. If we can't positively predict that, then it must not be the right match for us. So we really work to, during that first session, to make sure that that we know what we're getting into and they know what they're getting into, and it looks like it'll be a success for both of us.
That's so crucial, because in no matter what we are doing in different phases of our business and in our life, we have to find the right fit, the how we connect and make sure that that's a good fit. One of the things that has been awesome for me in working with you on getting this book is your cheerfulness. When there's been the phone calls back and forth, and we meet on Zoom and we do all these things in the accomplishment of this book. But your overall demeanor and attitude has been always cheerful and fun to work with, and it's a real tribute to you as a person that you have such a good, positive, amazing attitude towards life and in the way you treat others, which has been really appreciated in this process.
Well, thank you. I mean, a lot of that goes back to what you do. I mean, you take so much stress out of this process that it's just crazy. But I don't know, it just seems to me that if you're looking at things through a positive lens, you'll see positive. It doesn't mean that if the walls of your home collapse and that your house burns down, that it's a happy day, but there's a way that you can see the silver lining in a lot of different situations.
That's awesome. So for those that have not picked up a copy of your book, what do you have to say?
Why not?
Get it.
There's a couple of things that I really like about the book, and of course I wrote it, so that's one of the things. But the people that I work with, and then I think just society in general, we're used to getting a tweet or a text or short little pieces of information. And it's hard to sit down and read a 300-page book anymore. So I'm trying to cater to those folks that want something that's a quick read, but it'll give them something that they can use immediately in their business. And I think this book hits the mark on that. And again, I wrote it, so you know, I'm a little biased that way, but it does have the ability to give you some ideas, and you didn't have to stop your entire life for 3 months to finish the book.
It is a short book, and it's not a big book, which I appreciate because we're all crazy busy, and there's just so many aspects of life. And this is not a hard read. It's not difficult to get through this book, but you have some worksheet kind of system that you have put into place that you've showcased in your book. Can you address that a little bit?
Yeah, so once the readers get into the book, it'll show a link and it brings them to our website so they can download that tool. But one of the biggest things I think about the Get Squared process, and we'll use this as a introductory piece with all of our new coaching clients as well. One of the things that's interesting about it is that they pick the importance of the categories and where those categories belong. And I think one of the biggest mistakes in goal setting is that people will set goals. Let's say they set their business goals and they got themselves all ramped up and they're ready to go. Well, they've ignored their personal, they've ignored their family, they've ignored their spiritual. And so they're automatically going to be out of balance. So the quicker they can put those goals behind them or bury them in a drawer, the healthier they're going to be. So what this system does is it forces them to set goals in each one of those 4 categories. And I knew I was onto something when I brought it home the first time, and I drew a tear out of my wife because I was setting some goals for personal and family that she just wasn't used to seeing. And I thought, okay, I'm onto something here. I've got to keep doing this because I wanted the people that I worked with not to just be producing for me because I came to see them. I wanted them to be producing for themselves. And then I also wanted them to balance the rest of their life, because if they're happy and they're positive, they're going to be able to do a better job in their work, in the workplace as well.
Oh, I so agree. And, sometimes that balance, and it's every facet of your life, really. If you don't have the balance, you don't enjoy your family. The family misses out on you a lot. Your spirituality, begins to suffer. Your physical well-being. So there's just so many pieces of this that all work together. But one of the things, especially for those that are just starting out in business, it's often difficult to find that real balance that needs to be. And so it's a journey. It's really a journey. And I really liked how you had your quadrants, laid out, and the method in which you teach how to get those goals and accomplish them.
Yeah, and most likely as people get started, that little X factor after they get going will be that accountability. Having a partner that they can work with to hold them accountable to hitting those goals. That'll be the big thing after they get through the initial process. But they can find one of those, or they can get a coach or reach out to me and get some help there, because somebody cares enough about them to help them stay on track with their goals.
Very good. So I've enjoyed very much working with you on this. It's been a fun process, and I've learned a lot too, because I've been able to, as I go through the book and get it prepared for publishing, I have to stop and take the time too to pay attention to what's being written here, so that I know the content as well. So my hat's off to you, and congratulations on the release of your book. This is your first one, isn't it?
It is my first one, and it's kind of interesting because over the years I've wanted to write a book for a lot of years, but it was always just too low on the priority list. So the only time that I would get to write is when I was flying on an airplane, because the cell phone signal was shut out and nobody could get in touch with me. Well, during that same time, the noise of the airplane would kind of put me to sleep. So I get a couple of sentences written, and then I'd fall asleep and wake up and say, oh, I'm at my destination. But it's been nice to really just kind of take the time, carve out the time in my schedule to finish this, because it's a different importance level now. And now I've got to say to myself, okay, I've got 10 to 15 titles sitting there with outlines already written up. So which one do I do next? So that's going to be the next piece. I'll have to get some input from you, Becky, on which one sounds the best.
Well, I know I have a couple of books in me, and my business has been growing like crazy, and they're not getting written. So I need to put some goals around my goals are the things that I want to accomplish too. Well, congratulations on being an author. Our goal for today that we will get is #1 bestseller, and that's what the support of all those that are seeing this and learn about it is what's going to help you to accomplish that. So congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. And also, this has been such a neat experience because I've gotten notes from people all over the country, people from as early as first grade and kindergarten that have sent me notes about the book, and they've either bought it and they're reading it or getting ready to buy it. And so just like to say thank you to all those people and all the support, and my family's prodding to get this book done. They got sick of hearing about it. So it's nice that it's published now. They can stop hearing about it, and it's just done and out there. Now I'm going to force them to read it.
Yeah. Like, Paul, you've got to walk your talk here.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too, because kids, you don't have to be in business to be able to benefit from this book, because you're setting goals in all quadrants of your life, and you will have an aha moment when you first fill out your goal square, for sure.
Very much. Well, thank you, and will be interesting. It will be very, very interesting to see how the day rolls and what your next goal setting is going to be, even for yourself. And have enjoyed working with you. So for those listening, be sure and pick up a copy of Paul's amazing new book.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you.